We juicing. Kachaya. How we doing, chat? Got. Previously on Kimba TV. All I have to worry about is this or this. I have to figure out what do I want to do with the short and what do I want to do with the long. And I already know, what am I going to do with the short? It's the shorts are just hedges. I'm not trying to profit on this bitch. Right? Oh, Lord. Who juicing, chat? Who juicing? Quit playing with me, chat. Can I get a yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Quit playing with me, chat. Quit playing with me. Burke, what's going on? Evil, what's going on? Lions Traces, hey, did I miss 15-second TA? No, not really. But as long as you were here for the weekend streams, I think you're good to go. Yesterday we left off with, hey, let's be ready to short a swing fail at the box. I actually took this. I had pixel perfect swing fail short entry. So that's your short. Swing fail level, that's your invalidation. So I had a short, and I already got stopped out in tiny profit, as we always do on our shorts. You know, even like, hey, the invalidation for the short is right here. If you get above the rocket launch platform, we're gonna go. So even like knowing, hey, this is where you want to take your short. This is your stop loss. No shorts above that, obviously. So took it, got stopped out in tiny profit, and yeah, our pixel perfect bottom long still juicing. But do you, like everything kind of falls in place. The reason why we hedge short is because we don't want to shave the long. You know, make sure you put your stop loss at break even. You shouldn't be losing any money on shorts. We had every single level identified, our entries, our stop loss, the rocket launch platform. Yeah, so I mean, if anything, we're looking for a bullish retest now. So, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. I don't know yet. Most likely one of these VWAPs for a bullish retest, but I'm not really going to chase a bullish retest because I don't think I need to. The only time that I would really do it is if it deviates from the RR from the next short. So if you guys remember, the next short I'm looking at is around, if you guys remember what? So probably, I don't think I have to really take a bullish retest long. I mean, we have the 100, 700 perfect. So yeah, I probably don't need to think about a bullish retest until the 109 short attempt. Yeah, but for today, yeah, you're probably looking at like a bullish retest somewhere. So can I just, you see this? You see where I did the volume? Can I just extend this? Do you understand that this is value area high? So watch, I'm going to take this, okay? I'm going to extend it all the way. Look at that. So do you have anchored VWAP, that dotted yellow line? Do you have value area high, point of control, value area low, value area low? Okay. Do you have all the single prints, right? You have single prints to the downside. Do you have the naked untapped point of controls for Binance, which is the biggest derivative volume? Okay, do you have fibs pulled? Do you have fibs pulled? Do you have anchor VWAP? From all-time high. So what's your next level of interest for a possible short? I have mine. Do you, JV? And you know what's also crazy is if there is a short to be had here, I already talked about it last Wednesday. As we talked many times, exactly. Yeah. What do you think about the idea that if this box short, first off, what do you think about understanding that this is the limits for your short and your invalidation is super close? Do you remember that conversation? No shorts to be had above this box, right? We said the next short after this box is 109, right? So think about, I mean, I don't know if you took this or not, but I took this short. And I got stopped out in tiny profit. I put my stop loss break even. Obviously, this is bouncing pixel perfect 7.5 on hidden bull div. Right? So hidden bull div again at the 7.5 pixel perfect, right? And obviously, we know that if golden pocket is turned into support, then it's going to make a higher high. So, you know, but yeah, tried it. Didn't lose any money on this short, right? And we didn't short anything. None of this, none of this, none of this. I got pixel perfect, exactly what I wanted. I got my entry, I got my stop loss, and I think I got stopped out like right here. But I made tiny profit, and I was able to market smash long when I closed my short for the long that I'm already in. What do you think about that long, by the way? It's got to be testnet. And then now, as we talked about before, and like we identified this is the rocket launch platform. And look at where it did the bullish retest. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we already talked about it last week, but I wouldn't even think about shorting until 109. It's really like only bullish retest today, right? We can't predict the future, so we know where the rocket launch platform is, right? So if you were extremely, extremely aggressive and you wanted to take a long, you could have tried to get in right there. I don't even know how you would have gotten filled. If I was going to try to scalp long, and if I was in a situation like UJV, I would wait for the 106 to get bullish retested. That was the whole point of last week, I feel like, brother. You know, like if you were here, for all of this, right? Especially this, you know that I really want the bullish retest of the 106, 105.8, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But, you know, I would really only think about longing down here, you know, because I'm already in one from here. Like the RR is not worth it to take it here. ¿Cachoy? So, yeah, I mean, what I would think about next is maybe a head short. And I would start thinking about if this has a pullback from here, where you would think about longing. Because that's basically, you know, we already did this last week, so shout outs to everybody that was here last week. But that kind of gets you into like the 7.5, 7.6, sort of 8.6 neighborhood, right? And remember, I'm not saying this can't happen. This could happen. I don't know. But I'm probably going to take a short there in case it's going to do something like that. You know, probably add to the 110, 111 short. or re-enter depending on what happens or how high it goes. But yeah, so if I were you, JV, I would start thinking about if it rejects here, what are levels that I could safely long, but also what are some levels that need to hold where I would be like, oh fuck, we lost that level, we're gonna go way lower. Okay, start thinking about where the long would be after it pulls back, if it pulls back from here. You need to, you play chess, right, JV? Sometimes it's funny when there's like a lion cub that's like, why are you talking about all these different probabilities? Just tell me long or short. Why do you keep telling me if this, fuck the ifs? And I'm like, dude, you've never fucking played chess in your life. Yeah, like you need to be thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. You know what I mean? So if this guy moves his rook, then I could do this. And if I could do this, then he has 5, 6 different options. You know, instead of moving his rook, if he plays with his, moves his queen, you know, then I could do this. If he does this, and if I do that, then he could do these things. You know, is that the right path that you want to go down? So yeah, it's you should be thinking about if it does this, but also if it doesn't do that, then what am I going to do? All right? And you just got to do your best, and that's why you look at the data to kind of see if you have a reason to do it, yes or no. All righty, how we doing? Zamil, Curvies, MJ James Kirk, Dan Green, Lua Bambua, Calexis, Let Me Juice, Actor Lee. We got Lee in the building, DJ H, we got Mandalo, we got JV, we got Houston, we got Sliced Bread, we got Lupo. Anything you guys want to talk about? I wish there was something dead ass obvious. You know that we're waiting for that 109 zone for potentially thinking about taking a short, right? Lots of confluence up there, so it's close, but same thing with S&P. Are we saving that tap for 60.36 or what the Don Diddley? Yeah, and then Wednesday we have CPI, y'all. Yeah, so it'll be dope if we get a 106 bullish retest. I'll probably take like a add-on scalp long or something with you guys. Same thing at 109 as we start to get into those point of controls and untapped naked point of controls and whatnot. We'll see if there's a reason structurally or open interest or divergence wise, if there's a reason to short up there. We have 22 minutes until power hour. So we have about 90 minutes to hang out for the rest of the day. So hopefully we get something. All right. Peter says, what are possible short scenarios? Do you remember when we were talking about the 109s? A lot of the sort of breakdown would be from the, there's like fibs, anchor VWAPs, a whole variety of stuff that kind of puts the 109 to 109.6, 109.8 area as an interesting zone. Peter, do you see like all the point of controls, naked point of controls, the daily, weekly stuff up there? Yeah. So, you know, you're probably going to be looking at some sort of hidden CVD bear div. Okay, on the higher time frame, if you want to short that, and then maybe structurally there's going to be like a smaller. To be honest, instead of shorting 109, I think an easier trade for everybody would be to try the 106 bullish retest. I was actually hoping we would see that today for fucking JV's sake. JV says, would you see a scenario where BTC not even going down to our Bugatti level? Yes, anything is possible. Yeah, I was hoping we would get it today live. I thought we would have been filled by now, to be honest. Yeah, so maybe it isn't going to go there. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, for it to go back down there, you can clearly see where the VWAP is, right? So why would it go down to Bugatti dealership if the Honda dealership is good enough at the VWAP? Gamma says, Kimba, can you share your thought process and what comes to your mind to anticipate SFP? Sure. So this is, if I were to like slow down what's going on in my head, the first thing that I'm looking at is identifying the sweep level, because you need to have a way to identify this. So basically you need to have a way to identify this is a sweep. Okay, so going into it, you need to be able to say, okay, I'm going to switch to the 1 minute, the 3 minute, 5 minute. And if on the smaller time frame I start to see structure change, okay, I'm not going to wait for a 30 minute. I'm okay with a 15 minute, but as soon as I see structure change on the smaller time frame, this is the sweep level, this is the invalidation. Right? And then I'm thinking to myself, this is the zone that I would be okay with having entries through. So there's a good chance that I'm not going to be able to market smash or get the post limit only. And it's going to be too quick. And so I'll say, hey, from here to here, I'm going to allow myself to market. Okay, so I'm going to try to define the levels, and I'm going to try to define what would be my trigger. Obviously, that's what you're doing as you are approaching that, when you hit that level. But as you approach it, Gamma, you're trying to see basically as it's pumping or dumping, is it pumping or dumping because of a squeeze? Or is it pumping or dumping because there's open interest increasing and people are actually longing or shorting? And that would automatically kind of make me adjust the position size. Usually I'll go 50 Bitcoin per exchange if I feel good about it. If I'm kind of it's more 15, 20, all the shit that you've seen the last couple of weeks. So, feeling good about it, 50, 75, not like an average trade that I'm not really sure on, more like 15, 20. Yeah, and then I think really with an SFP, you're probably, because if it's not an SFP, it's going to be a failed auction or something else, which is going to give you time. So if you're purely thinking about what to do about an SFP, the most important thing I think is to anticipate the speed in which it's going to do it. If you're trying to short or if you're trying to long, the faster the SFP, the better, right? Do you want something that dips and is only down there for 5 seconds and then it immediately starts to go, or you want the one that goes like this? Which one do you want? So by definition, the SFP is going to move quick. So you just need to anticipate for that, because if it doesn't move quick, then it's going to be failed auction. You can buy yourself a little bit more time. Yeah, but I'm down to do it live. I feel like I've done a couple live, but I think also the most important thing, and what we've highlighted maybe the last 2 weeks, is when you put your stop loss in profit. I feel like we just did an SFP earlier on S&P that you could take a look at. I literally did exactly what I just told you. I had the sweep level identified. Okay, I was on the 1 minute, 3 minute, and I said, as soon as the structure changes, I'm in. So basically I got exactly at the sweep level. And thank God the invalidation was like really close to the entry. So it was nice. I went to the 1 minute, just like how I'm telling you to look at a structure change. If it really is a swing fail, it shouldn't lose blank. I think it pixel perfected like 75786 and eventually came down due to the failed auction to make a lower low. I was able to put my stop loss at break even. And even though it actually made a higher high and I got stopped out, I did exactly what I would do every single time on an SFP if you want to go back and look at it. So maybe the only thing that would be different is instead of the 1 minute, I might be on the 3 minute, or I might be on the 5 minute. And it'll also depend on things like, is it during RTH? Is it during Macaulay? Is it during the weekend? Do I actually have volume? Is CVD or VWAP helping me at all? Stuff like that I would just sprinkle on top. Where are my schwiggity schwaggities at, ladies and gentlemen? Paul, you trying to get into a long? Bro, that 106 is your last chance, if you even get it. Hannah, you too? Mark, you too? Hey, I love that you put that fucking LOL emote in between the two waving emotes. So I'm curious, have you been trying? You've been trying to long, right? Or you were just waiting? What about you, Zach? Synonym. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Interesting, interesting. Well, yeah. You know what would be sick, Lions? Aim Talk says I missed my entry. Got you, got you. You know what would be sick though, Aim Talks? Like 109, 110, or whatever the fuck, right? On the higher time frame. I'm not talking about like tomorrow or tonight or this week, but just kind of like in higher time frame, that 109 zone that we've been talking about ends up becoming resistance, and we still go to 98. Yeah. So gotta be prepared. Yeah, but obviously, even before we talk about any sort of levels, there's VWAP down there, right? There's VWAP down there. There's lots of stuff. So 22 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Aro says dream scenario. I would love it. Why do I feel like you would still pussyfoot that, complaining about it front ran me by $20 after the fact? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That would be hilarious, though. Oh, it front ran me by $10. Again? Yes, again, Kimba. Golly, my boy. Yeah, but gotta stay safe. You know, there's no guarantees about anything. So we can joke about all that shit, you know, all we want, but there's no guarantees that that's a good long either. So let's see. Let's see if this sort of 109.1 through 109.5, is that even worth something? Do we get a failed auction? Do we get a swing fail? That's what I would be thinking about through Macaulay. Did you see how we went from 1% chance of a rate cut to now 1% chance of an increase in rates? Dude, Trump is going to shit himself, dude, if Jerome Powell says we're going to increase rates. Yeah. JV says that's me on the chair. That's okay, JV. Let's see what tomorrow brings, you know. Obviously, if we get blessed with some sort of pullback, you know, VWAP is whatever. I think that's a little bit too aggressive, but if we can get blessed with some sort of goofy magoofy, 106 bullish retest, the invalidation is pretty clear. We can go over it again tomorrow. But the invalidation, we kind of drew it already. You know, the structure would have to hold. It has deviated so far away that, you know, it's still just going to be like basic structure. So you can't get scared on like a 75% pullback, you know? But, at this point, like the 109, 110 area has a lot of point of controls and volume related bullshit. So, it's probably not a good long to try to, chase it up here. I think, even at the risk of missing it again, you just have to understand that 106 would probably be better. Do you want 106 long to work, or do you want that shit to not work so you can get in at lower? The reason why I ask that is to see if you can be honest with yourself to really understand what you really want. Because if there's any sort of doubt or you don't really want a long 106, you're going to pussyfoot it or convince yourself to not take it or make yourself wait longer for more edge, and you're going to miss it again. And that's okay, but you need to start like being aware of what would be worst case scenario. And I don't think it's really like a mathematical thing or like a hypothetical. It could go to the 7.5 or 8.86 with you. Worst case scenario is you start pussyfooting, or you start thinking to yourself, wait. I was really ecstatic about taking it a day ago, but now I don't know. I'm going to wait until Kimba says papink. Sally says, I want to short 109 and long 106. Me too, until you said that goofy shit. I'm just kidding. Yeah, if it feels like it starts to get overcrowded, I would be careful, Sally, because if it goes down there and a whole bunch of people start opening longs and open interest goes up at that level, it's probably going to nuke. So if you have a hidden CVD bull div, I think that's your best chance because you know that those have been working. Otherwise, I would be really sus. I don't know if you were here last week, but there was a time where we could see on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the hidden bull div worked. On Friday, for the first time, it did not. And we actually shorted that. So, you can clearly see hidden CVD bull divs, right? So I think the trick would be to just make sure that if you are going to long, that shit is still there helping you out. And I would be really suspicious about taking any longs once you start to lose those. But have you noticed that so far all of them pretty much on a reasonable time frame have been working out? We had lions that were like longing 107 on the hidden CVD bull div and whatnot. So pretty aggressive, but me too, brother. I was just teasing you. I'm the same. I'm pretty much the same, brother. And it's not really 109. You know that it's like between 109 and 109.6. You could just call it 109, 110. And then it's not really like 106. It's actually 105 to 106. It's really closer to 105, 105.5 for derivatives. And then for CME, it's like 105.5 to 106. But they're all like $1,000 ranges, you know? But I'm excited to see what CPI is going to come out as. I'm excited to see how the markets are going to react to it. I'm excited to see how that's going to impact FOMC. I can't believe that we went from 1% chance that we're going to do rate cuts to 1% chance that we might have a rate increase. So no rate cuts, I guess, Lions. And that is going to have an impact in and of itself. If we're still at 109, 110, ooh, that could be an interesting short come Wednesday too. Yeah. JV, you think I still think you have a chance to get like a 109 to sub 100 long. But I don't know. I'm talking about like some daily, weekly time frame shit, you know? And obviously, if it doesn't, once it goes above or until it goes above like 111, it really wouldn't invalidate that idea. So I'm always going to be kind of chirping that shit. I don't want you to get too caught up in it. But yeah, first things first, I would, this is 75786 and then the range point of control as you guys saw. So we'll see what it does here. You good? FibMath says we are not getting lower than 100 in my humble opinion, not predicting the future. I would tend to agree with you. The thing is once it feels like everybody thinks that, then it is going to go and break the 100, right? And you never know how that is going to shift. So the best thing that you can do is continue to do levels that, should get bought up before 100 actually do get bought up. Is it support? And just take it level by level. So, but yeah, as long as we're above 106, I would agree with you, FibMath. I'm right there with you. But I think you're fucked if we lose 106K. Just because there's so many shitty lows and so many leverage positions that would probably start cascading. The other thing too that I keep talking about is I don't know if you've been around for like the times that I would take positions on like Fridays or Saturdays, I would just get round tripped on Monday or Tuesday anyways. And I feel like there's a lot of longs that happened over the weekend that are juicing right now that maybe are not as deserving as they should be. Yeah. And remember what we talked about in the morning too is I'm bullish. That's why I'm thinking of every single way that I could get fucked. You know? And, you know, I have every single level that I'm staring at to make sure that it's going to hold. So Feisty says, how high do we go now in BTC before dip? There's no such thing. So as being able to predict the future, Festy. As you know, what I would do, Festy, is, are you in the Discord? Go to the Discord. And I think a lot of Lions, whether they're looking at bands or VWAP or anchored or minor or major VWAP or Fibonacci or volume profile, I think most Lions are going to tell you there's a bunch of levels between 109 and like 109.6, 109.7. Okay. And I'm talking about derivative pricing. Okay. I think everybody would kind of agree that that's a level of resistance. So what you want to do is, now that that zone has been identified by you and us, what you need to do is figure out, do you actually have a reason to short? Some reasons to short would be that you have some sort of CVD exhaustion or absorption, AKA divergences. You have open interest indicating that the move up is not as bullish as it should be, AKA that the open interest actually went down. So it's just a short squeeze, right? Or maybe it's indicating that it's not as bullish as we think it is, because at some sort of point of control or Fibonacci level, it has a structural reaction, meaning that there's a bunch of buying that happens and immediately the selling is overwhelming enough to the point where the price is already below where the bunch of buying started, like an SFP. So, Festy says, where is a good zone for you to short? So you're still not, Festy, listen to what I'm saying. We don't long or short levels. We long or short bullish or bearish data. So it's not about where's a good zone to short. You could ask me, where's a good zone to look at the data to think about shorting. But we don't short or long random levels, Festy. So let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, right now you can tell that there was a bunch of $80 million in shorts between here and here, okay? And they're all underwater, okay? If we get here, okay, and we do this, and so there's no structure, meaning it's not a swing fail, okay? We get here, and all of these shorters that entered right here, they don't get closed out, meaning that they're even more underwater. Okay, I wouldn't short that. However, if we do something like a bearish structural edge, like a swing fail, if underwater shorts get stopped out, if we get 50, 60, 70, 80, $100 million in longs open right here, and we immediately tuck back below and they're already underwater, then that would be my entry and that would be and I would take a short. But it's never a level that we would just randomly put blind limits and hope that it's going to reject. So if you know what a divergence is, or if you know how to read open interest, or if you know what a swing fail pattern is or a failed auction, you're going to be able to actually determine if you have a reason to short or not. Alrighty, Festy? And last but not least, that's why there's no scenario where you can just ask me if we should long or short and it actually works out unless I'm here live with you. You're still going to have to look at shit like this. DJ Oliver says, please stay. I might pop in after Houston and Cage. You never know. That's the beauty with V2, brother. Yeah, but mark out the levels to the upside, mark out the levels to the downside. Don't get so caught up in the 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, even the 1 hour, 4 hour, to be honest. You got to start with like a bias, and whether you like it or not, whether you are aware of it or not, we all have a bias, you know? So, try to figure out where would be a good risk-free, not risk-free, but like a risk-low area to take shots, whether it's a hedge short, a hedge long, a good short, whatever it is. So longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. Dax, Manaka, MEXC, Sigur, Ludo, Zendi. Let's go. Give it up for Houston and Cage. Who'd you shin? He reaving. Liquidation.